can you come into a community and dump people in our community like this? This is not fair.
Nobody asked us. Nobody told us. We have more than few thousand people who signed a signature here who said no. We said no.
We have concern about our students, our children, who walk on this street every day. How do we ensure their safety?
This is essentially like a Band-Aid to a gunshot wound. You are putting a Band-Aid on a huge problem at hand.
I think that's a bad idea.
We are the residents of this community, and we demand that they do not put these people here. They're not even following the rules in the police station. What makes us think that they're going to follow the rules here?
Turn the buses around. Turn the buses around.
You want to take the little scrap, the resources that we have, and put us at the bottom of the barrel? That's not fair.
You would have your right mind and see a crowd like this, you would say to yourself, they don't want it.
Having that? No. You want to tell us what to do in our park? You cannot do that. We pay our money.
We are disappointed in you. This is the community that supported you. How dare you? I want Mayor Brandon Johnson to understand that you're selling us out for people who can't vote for you.
A few moments later.
So we just finally got our paperwork, so we are becoming legal here. Legal here.
Gotcha, What is good, YouTube family? It's your boy Rashad with the Black Anomaly Rising channel. Man, I'm telling you, I saw this video earlier, and I was like speechless. I could barely stomach the video. Woke Mayor Brandon Johnson over here just straight up woke virtue signaling, using every gaslighting trick in the book, like bringing religion into it, basically saying, well, God would want us to take care of the migrants, and you know, we can handle it. You know, we're trying to bring people together, and it's the Republicans' fault. And I'm like, how you gonna be all holy roly and then at the same time just straight up denigrate like any conservatives and Republicans? Make it make sense. Like, this guy is actually low key, perhaps a mastermind politician. He might be, because people actually seem like they're eating up some of the stuff that he's saying. And I'm like, man, this dude must have been a player from the Himalayas, because he just got people just, their mind just warped. Like, they just can't think straight. They can't get over their ex. They can't get over him. You know, he permanent. He the abusive partner. They just can't leave him. They just can't. Their heart is stuck on him. Now, I'm going to go ahead and react to this. And yes, this will be one of them videos where I interrupt the video. Okay? So, because some of the stuff he says is so preposterous, I just can't take it without giving my feedback. So, without further ado, let's get into it.
Hi. Thank you.
What would you want to see from the border deal that's being discussed in Congress? And would you want some limits placed on the flow of migrants from other cities and states?
Well, it has to be better coordination. You know, what we've seen is a very raggedy form instituted by right-wing extremism. Everyone knows that the right-wing extremism in this country has targeted democratically ran cities. And quite frankly, they've been very intentional about going after democratically ran cities that are led by people of color.
What?
You see how this is immediately started and made into a blame game? So essentially what this guy is doing is he doesn't want to accept any responsibility for the fact that he's literally taking resources away from all Chicagoans, including a bunch of black people in Chicago, taking their resources away, just handing them right on over to some migrants. Here you go, Venezuelans, here you go. Like, black people, nah, you're good, you're okay. I gotta take care of my next group of voters, the people I really want to support me. Right? Like, he doesn't care. He's already in office. Right? This is how these people operate. They get in office, and then they throw all the Democrat voters under the bus. This is why people, okay, anybody who asked the question, why would you dare support somebody like Donald Trump or any conservative, any Republican, this is why. Because this guy isn't supporting black voters. I mean, he's literally right now, practically every conversation that this guy has, everything is about migrants. Literally everything. It's always about like the next thing for migrants, and we're trying to take care of all these people. It's like they're not citizens of the United States. What about the people who voted for you, the people who've been here, the people who've complained about decades worth of neglect?
The South Side has been under-resourced, underfunded for years, for decades. We have schools that need to be reopened. We have buildings that are abandoned that need to be business operated.
The group says the city has abandoned its Invest Southwest initiative, a Lightfoot-era program that was dedicated to reversing decades of disinvestment on Chicago's South and West sides, promising to align more than $2.2 billion through public and private funding.
We are taxpayers, we're property owners. Our money should go towards fixing our communities.
Decades. And still not getting nothing. And they just pulling money out of the you-know-what, giving it to migrants. Sanctuary city. This guy is, all of these cities are sanctuary city, including Chicago. Like New York and Chicago, how are you going to blame Republicans in right-wing extremism? You see how he always says right-wing extremism? He says right-wing extremism, emphasis on extremism every time. Very intentional. That's why I say he's low-key, perhaps political mastermind, because he never leaves. He never just says right-wing. Always got to be extremism. Okay, before we continue, look. I got this bottle, right, of Gatorade. Okay? Now, let's say I fill this bottle up with water. And let's say the water is illegal immigrants. Eventually, it's going to spill over. You can't fill it up endlessly. Texas is the bottle of Gatorade, okay? You can't just fill it up endlessly. It has to go somewhere else. And why would you not send people to what some individuals call sanctuary cities? What this really was is they never expected them to actually do it. They were just trying to get woke virtue signaling points. And now people like Mayor Brandon Johnson are just trying to avoid a situation where he backs down. So he sees it as like a challenge. Well, I'm gonna find a way to make this work. I don't care who I piss off or who I disenfranchise. I don't care. I'm gonna just find a way to make it work. And technically, to his credit, he's just pissing off everybody else because he's literally taking money out of your pockets, Chicagoans, taking food away from your children, literally any resources towards school, sanitation, all the same stuff that's happening in New York. It's happening here in Chicago. And he wants to blame the right wing for it. It's absolutely disgusting. What are you supposed to do? If they can't send them back in Texas, they're not allowed to send them back because of catch and release per Joe Biden. So what do? Just keep them and hold them in Texas forever? Distribute them around all 50 states that are not sanctuary cities? What do you do? Like, somebody really needs to get this guy to sit his ass down and really hammer him on these hard questions. What are you supposed to do? He's talking about coordinate it better. I'm like, how? Y'all are the sanctuary cities. What are you going to do? Send them to the boonies, a ranch, a farm? Like, what do you suppose, Brandon Johnson?
And their whole motivation is to create disruption and chaos, because that's what that particular party has been about. Right? This is the same political party that did not want to accept that President Obama was actually an American. It's the same Republican right-wing extremism that stormed the Capitol. It's the same right-wing extremism that refuses to accept the results of the Civil War. It's raggedy. It's disrespectful. It's mean-spirited. It's an unclean spirit, quite frankly.
So, question. Who didn't, like, I guess I'm confused. Maybe someone can educate me. Who refused to accept the results of the Civil War in 2023? I mean, who is these mysterious right-wing extremism people who refuse to accept the results of the Civil War? Now you talk about a conversation in regard to separation from the union and separation from state and federal separation, decentralization. That's a separate conversation. But the actual results of the Civil War, I haven't heard or I haven't seen any videos, no articles. Right now, in terms of the other things that he said, in terms of the acceptance of Obama being a U.S. citizen, like, I'll give him that. But here's the problem with that. What the hell does it have to do with anything now? Whether or not Obama was a U.S. citizen, wasn't that like at least 10 years ago when that conversation was had? What the hell does that got to do with today? No, seriously, what does it have to do with today? And as far as I know, it wasn't even every single Republican. Like, you want to just paint this broad stroke and just say, okay, yeah, this is the party that did this and that. Same thing for January 6th. I posted a video on the channel. A lot of people just walking around waving flags. And the Democrats literally stormed the Capitol too.
So you're seeing some arrests being made right now.
I did a video on that too. They just did it for a different reason. They did it over some Free Palestine stuff. Same thing. They literally went into the Capitol. They weren't supposed to go in, right? Nobody's supposed to go in that way. Like, you're not supposed to hold protest inside the Capitol. The Republicans did it. The Democrats did it. So, and on top of that, what the hell they got to do with the migrant crisis? You see what I'm saying? Like, he's just straight up trying to gaslight. Hey, don't forget that these people are your enemy. That's all he's saying. Don't forget, hey, don't look at me critically. You're forgetting who your real enemy is. That's all he's saying over and over and over again. And he's been doing this for a long time. But I'm like, what does that got to do with the money that's in your pocket? What does that got to do with your education, your sanitation, your police force, your homeless that are local to you, your streets and your infrastructure that have been neglected for years? All of these rundown places that they got. What happened to all of that? What's any of that got to do with the right wing? I think the answer is pretty obvious.
And so I got you. I just want to make sure that people understand what we're facing. That's why it's so important that the faith community is leaning in this moment. And so what I've said, there has to be better coordination. Look, Pastor Will Hall, who's also an alderman of the 6th Ward, visited the border. He saw the chaos firsthand. And so part of our effort to go to the border was to make sure that there was better coordination with the flow of migrants who are seeking asylum here. And this is not unprecedented. When the Ukrainian refugees found their way to the shores of America, there were 30,000 of them right here in the city of Chicago, and you don't hear a word about it because it was coordinated. There was federal dollars that were attached to those families. And so, to your question, yes, it has to be better coordinated. As far as limitations, we have to have parameters that respect the dignity of families who want to call Chicago their home. It is abysmal, and it's an affront for everything that is good about this country, for the extremism in this country to use people as political tools to settle political scores for something that happened 400 years ago. They're still mad that a black man is free in this country.
Oh my God.
He's a moron!
Nothing new, but aren't you glad that the soul of Chicago won't be broken? And those are the words of, I think, Beyonce. You won't break our soul.
Wow. This guy is completely insane. So he done brought it all the way back to slavery. Like, okay, so just to peep game real quick. So in general, both political parties had slaves, okay? Like, there was some shifting around of the parties. So the fact that he even brought up slavery is like, everything he's doing is trying to appeal towards like an us versus them. He's like, okay, anybody who is black, Hispanic, LGBTQ, any type of illegal, migrant, whatever you want to call them, we're all supposed to be one. And then Republicans is mad about slavery. They stormed the Capitol. They don't believe in the results of the Civil War. This guy is completely nuts. And the sad thing is people actually will sit here and listen to this and believe it. And then people look at me crazy because I'm voting Trump. People, they mad about slavery. Tim Scott is black. Byron Donalds is black. Both black conservatives. Who's mad about slavery? Every black person who is more conservative or Republican leaning is some sort of sellout, raccoon, Uncle Tom, Uncle Ruckus, whatever. That's what every single black person is. There's so many things about conservative values. Majority of black people actually have more conservative values. It's just that the Democrat Party has this hold. A lot of the stuff Democrat Party supports, a lot of black people don't even support. It's just that, they got more black people like to run in the Democrats, so they like to identify. It's like identity politics. But this guy is completely bonkers. How you gonna be a sanctuary city and basically say, hey, we want to sing Kumbaya. Y'all can send people here. Effing do it. Do it. And then people do it. And then you're like, oh, it's the right-wing extremism. They're trying to cause a disruption. They're trying to destroy everything. Like, what the hell are you talking about? The Republicans have been screaming from the top of their lungs to close the freaking border. Democrats in Chicago are screaming, close the border. In New York, close the border. It's been Democrats, Republicans, independent, in between have been saying, close the border. I done heard some little kids say stuff about the border need to be closed. And criticizing presidents, little kids. If the border was closed, nobody would be having this issue. This a whole big planet. The United States not even that big. There's plenty of places these people could go. Everybody don't got to come to the United States. And he doesn't want to put none of that on Joe Biden. You see what I mean about how I say the Democrats shill for each other? Totally. I thought they were bad when Trump was in office. They're just totally just shilling for him, some of the Republicans, but a lot of Republicans kind of criticize him. But some of them was just like, they never criticize him for nothing, which I don't think is fair. But people like Brandon Johnson literally found a way to make this the Republicans' fault. He literally said he went to the border and saw the problem. People just walking in. It is nuts that you can't put two and two together. Open border, people need somewhere to go to sanctuary city. 2 + 2 + 2 is 6, guys. I can't stand listening to this guy. This guy, it literally made my damn stomach hurt listening to this idiot. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new. Get these clowns out of office, please. Trump 2024. Appreciate y'all watching. Black and I'm Lee Rising. I'm out.
Upon my inauguration, I will terminate every open border policy of the Biden administration and commence the largest deportation operation in American history. We have no choice.